What's going on with y'all? Welcome to HDiiTV. You're now rocking with your boy. So, X-Men 97, dog, was, oh my goodness. And see, this is how you do it. So they did the first and second season under him, Bo DeMaio. They better bring him back for the third season because they got a hit on this. They got a hit. They've got a hit. And before they MCU it by messing it up, they need to bring him back. Now, they've taken some parts of stories. They took basically Bastion. They did his origin story different, which I knew they would, you know. The Machine, basically some type of bio thing, which was from a Nimrod or a Sentinel, basically merged with his dad. His dad, of course, impregnated his mom, and then boom, you had him, Bastion, who basically had everything under fold. Cassandra Novak was a part of everything. But in here, they kind of changed her character. You know, in the old one, she just took all the Jon Snow shout and everything. And ain't give a damn. But here, she went to talk to Magneto and she felt so guilty. And it hurt her. She was like, say something to me. At least I could take that. Magneto looked at her and said, ain't say nothing. And Cassandra Novak said the truth, that Magneto knew about us all along. He knew how we were. You see, the problem is the story about the X-Men, and this goes through history. Humans, which mainly is pink folk, they don't understand something, so what they do is they either try to conquer it or they try to kill it, instead of actually having a conversation and trying to learn one another. See, their own guilty pleasure and own guilty thinking and way of looking things make them like, oh, well, you're racist. Oh, well, you're this. They're projecting what they're actually thinking or feeling. And that's what they're doing in this series, is that the humans, mainly pink folk, what they are harboring towards the mutants. They've always been afraid of the mutants, but humans don't understand that mutants is a gene that just is developed. Now, in the old comic books, I believe they said the X gene was from some type of nuclear testing or whatever. It's crazy. But in the new thing, in the new comics, or the latest comics, not new, but latest comics, excuse me. Damn, she fine. My bad. From like years ago and stuff, you know, the X gene is a form of a deviant. So we're basically the mutants are a part of the deviants, the ones who fight the Eternals. So they have a gene, the X gene, basically mutated from the deviant gene. So they've changed it up a bit. Now in this story here, This is basically the zero tolerance policy, which, shout out to Comics Explain. Like, Comics Explain explains it thoroughly. I don't know if there's anybody else. If there is, you know, I'll let you know. LB sent me something about this one dude who talks about it and breaks it down. But zero tolerance and everything. So that's basically, it was different in the comic book because they got the president to sign off on it. And they mentioned that in here where they said that, where they was talking about President Kelly is cool with the mutants, and he basically said, well, I could change that, you know. So we're probably going to get what happened in the comic books happen here, where I think President Kelly, and I'm not pretty sure, in the comic book, I believe his wife was killed, but Bastion made it seem like that his wife was killed by a mutant, and they opened up zero tolerance. And then once they took over everything, they started taking over humans as well. They started seeing humans as a threat as well, because they were feeling like, okay, well, the mutant gene derives from humans, so, you know, so they took it in their own hands to try to stop it before it ever came into fruition. Now, he turned his whole town into Sentinels, the Prime Sentinels, which basically you don't know who's who. The lady that was with the one who had a crush on Hank, the news reporter, was a Prime Sentinel. So Bastion set it up perfectly. And see, by Cassandra Novak bringing Magneto out, Magneto has the power of magnetism, so he shut the whole world down. So Bastion, I believe, you know, him and his black chick that's next to him, I can't think of her name, but they went back to the facility. The Sinister basically said, look, man, she done messed up. She released Magneto. So Bastion turned his mom, everybody into Prime Sentinels. And it was dope seeing Cyclops and his son Nathan and Jean all together. Now, this is what I want to know. Because up to this point in the comic books, Onslaught happened, Fatal Attraction happened. Like with Magneto shutting the world down, that's from Fatal Attraction, I believe. And if you don't know what Fatal Attraction is, it's mainly the story where is the beginning of Onslaught. Professor X, Magneto rips the animatium out of Wolverine, which forced Professor X to go crazy for a split second and basically mess up Magneto's mind, I guess wiped his mind or whatever. And later down the line, Onslaught came, and everybody, they basically explained it that Professor X and everything, him and Magneto thoughts merged, and they became Onslaught. But if you, like I was telling LB last night, if you do Onslaught, you can still do Onslaught. Because the way Bo DeMaio has set it up, season 2 could end up being Onslaught. We saw the cameo of Spider-Man, which was dope. Omega Red. The samurai guy, I think Silver Samurai. So we got all of that. Now it's 2 more episodes, I believe. Part 2 is going to be crazy. Because now Professor X is back from the Shi'ar. But Bastion, everything he was doing was awesome. He was turning the media and the world against mutants, which was great because now you can attack them. Then we saw, of course, Jubilee and her man get kidnapped or get captured. Remember, in Zero Tolerance and all of that, which was mainly a story about Iceman. This was Iceman's story. Like the X-Men were only in it for a little bit, and then they escaped. But he's gonna use probably Jubilee. Well, in how they're doing the series, they're probably gonna use Jubilee as bait to try to get Professor X and all of them to lure them in the trap. I could see him try to infect her with the Prime Sentinel stuff, because I think they did that in the comics where people, like the people were just popping up. I think they had mutants too just popping up as Prime Sentinels, like people they would trust. So be on the lookout for that. But Professor X being back is going to calm everything down and get a plan going. Rogue is still knocked out from that punch that Bastion gave her. So she's still unconscious. Nightcrawler, we got to see Nightcrawler in action. That was him and Wolverine fighting side by side. That's a comic book I wish they would make, Wolverine and Nightcrawler. Because those are my 2 favorite X-Men. No. Because I love Cyclops. Cyclops is dope. I love how they got him depicted in this. The take charge attitude. You know, that's something I like. And it was funny when Jean Grey was bossing Cable around. Cable's like, man, you always bossing me around. Damn. Because remember when Jean Grey came back, you know, she kissed Wolverine and all of this. And Wolverine is like, man, look, you know we can't be together. You need to be with him. And that's the truth. Wolverine to me, if they did a story where him and Jean Grey got together. When they got together, they just quit the X-Men. And like Wolverine got fat and lazy, drinking beer all day, Jean Grey in there cussing them out about different stuff, but they were happy, they were together. But the thing is that I never used to like all that crap. With the triangle between Wolverine, Jean Grey, and Cyclops, I was like, oh God, all right, whatever. Just some soap opera crap. But it was dope seeing that Cable, Jean Grey, and of course Cyclops together. But if it wasn't for Cassandra Novak freeing Magneto, they would have been in trouble. But I like the twist where she was a part of the whole plan, which I knew she was. Excuse me. I just had a feeling. I'm like, but this the chick who, and then when Comics Explained talked about it, I said, I remember Cassandra. She the one that put the, she the one who, destroyed Genosha with all the mutants over there. And then Hope Summer, you know, like, and then Hope Summer, who is, Cyclops and Jean Grey's daughter from another timeline, she harnesses the Phoenix and she brings the mutant population back to multiples. Because remember, after the House of M, which I wish they could have did that storyline, that would have been dope. And after the House of M, you had that happen, the attack on Genosha and all of that. The mutant population was down, and Hope Summers came and brought it back up by using the Phoenix Force. So in this, I think we're going to get Apocalypse, and I believe we're going to get Gambit to come back as Death, one of the 4 horsemen of Apocalypse called Death. So that'll be dope. But in my opinion, dog, the stories that I liked was X Factor. I liked it X Factor more than X-Men. And X Factor was like Cyclops and them. They were on the missions, like killing, like they were doing the covert missions. They were doing the stuff that the real X-Men wouldn't do, which they was just chopping people up, killing people. That was my joint, was X Factor. And then, you know, Cyclops started, everybody say Cyclops turned into the bad guy, and I'm like, I don't believe he became a bad guy. I just believe he was so engulfed in his views of, and he was just tired. He was tired of mutants dying. He was tired of always trying to do this. But it happened with Professor X, when Professor X, he did something. He lied to the X-Men about something, and ever since then, Cyclops just wasn't cool with him no more, and kind of never wanted to follow him. He was starting to lean more to what Magneto was, and Magneto was starting to lean towards what Charles was. You know, which people were like, this is different. Cyclops fans was pissed. Me, I'm a Cyclops fan, but I was cool with it. I'm like, man, this is dope. Because Cyclops, man, is a bad guy. Is vicious. But Zero Tolerance started off great. We got Storm coming back. Everybody gonna come back. They're gonna regroup. Most likely they're gonna come up with a plan to stop Bastion. But I think Bastion might win in the next episode, and in the final episode, I believe, you know, the X-Men and everything will take over. So yeah, thank you for listening, man. Like I said, I give the series 4 stars out of 4. This has been great. This is how the X-Men should be depicted. To me, the X-Men were more interesting than really any like, to me, it's X-Men and Spider-Man. That was it for me in Marvel. It was X-Men or Spider-Man, and Deadpool, of course. But to me, I liked it them. So thank y'all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. If you guys love what you hear, you can donate to the page by going to the description box, hitting that link to the Cashapp to donate. And you also, I also got a Zelle account. You can find it by in the description box. You can also super chat me, you know, or you can super thanks me after the video's done. You know, also, you guys can sign up to the Patreon. It's just $3 a month. I dropped some more info this morning and stuff on things, so hope everybody who on the Patreon enjoy it. But I dropped some stuff on there for people to see and watch. And what else is there? Oh yeah, shout out to Casino for Life. Shout out to Who Did It This Time, Lobo, L0. Shout out to Jose Rodriguez, Jag Sports. Shout out to Scrub, MDT Sports, Strictly Unapologetic, JP, Detroit Hollywood T, LB So Wavy, Montrese, Daryl Clark, Daryl Jones. Thanks for stopping by yesterday. Outlaw. You know, the whole game. Bear Theater. Shout out to him. You know, shout out to him. One True Emperor, shout out to him. And if I missed you, my apologies. Excuse me. I'm out. Deezy.